Okay, to do the chart method, we have to come up with our for every statement, just like we do any other problem. So we are going to look at our periodic table, and we're going to know that for every 1 mole of zinc, there are 65 grams and 602 sextillion particles of zinc as well. So we're going to go ahead and take this whole for every statement, and we're going to put it into our known for every statement down here. So we know that for every 1 mole, there are 65 grams and 602 sextillion particles. I'm just going to initial that with SP just so we know that. Now the problem tells us we have 104 grams of zinc, and the question's asking how many particles do we have. So even though we have a mole spot here, the question doesn't really address it, so we can ignore that. And we can just look at mass and number of particles. So I see my mass went up, so that also tells me that my number of particles went up. So I'm going to start with what I don't know, which is my number of particles. So 602 sextillion particles of zinc. We're going to multiply it by a factor greater than 1. So we're going to put the bigger number on top, 104, because if you want it to go up, you put the bigger number on top. Grams of zinc over 65 grams of zinc. Okay, when you do this, what I recommend is doing 104 divided by 65 first in your calculator, hit enter, and then multiply that entire thing by 602. When you do that, you get the answer of 963 sextillion particles of zinc. And if I look at what I started with, that is a pretty good number because it's more than 602. So that kind of tells me that I'm on the right track. To do the next problem, you're going to do the same thing. We're going to start with 1 mole is 65 grams and 602 sextillion particles. And again, this just comes from our beginning for every statement up here. And now this problem gives me 271 sextillion atoms of zinc. So I'm going to put the 271 under the particles. Even though it says atoms, remember that atoms, molecules, those are still all considered particles. And I look here and I see that my number of particles decreased. So I also am going to know that my mass is going to decrease. And again, the question doesn't just talks about grams, so we can ignore moles for now. So I'm going to start with my 65 grams of zinc, and I'm going to multiply it by a factor that's going to make 65 less. So we're going to put the 271 on top, and we're going to put the 602 on the bottom. And again, I would recommend doing 271 divided by 602, enter, times 65. And when you do that, you should get about 29.3 grams of zinc. And then again, I like to check if 1 mole, or if 602 particles of zinc give me 65 grams, if I have 271, which is a lot less, I should have a lot less amount of zinc, and I do at 29.3 grams.